Good day, everyone. Bon dia, and a warm welcome to the Digital Innovation Pavilion at COP30. A special welcome to our partners and guests joining us virtually from around the world, and to those watching this in posterity on YouTube. My name is Moritz. I work for GIZ at the Digital and Green Innovation Action, and I will be your moderator for today. We're here to talk today about innovation for change, digital solutions for our planet's urgent challenges. We will see how different actors in what we call the digital innovation ecosystem, innovators and those who support them, contribute to our shared efforts to preserve our beautiful planet for future generations. I want to thank our gracious hosts, Brazil, for organizing COP this year, and Plocha and EverCity for the opportunity to host this session at the Digital Innovation Pavilion. To set the stage and introduce the Digital and Green Innovation Action, which organized this session with the support of the European Commission's Directorate General for Climate Action, please give a warm welcome to our first speaker, Gabriela Sanchez from Expertise France, who will introduce us to the Digital and Green Innovation Action with the focus on what we do in the Latin America and Caribbean region. Gabriela?
So hi, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I want just to check if I can share my screen here. So, tick, tick, didn't. Yes. Could you please confirm it if it's working?
Yes.
Perfect. So again, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. As Moritz was saying, my name is Gabriela Sanchez, and I'm part of the team of Expertise France, which is implementing the Digital and Green Innovation Action in Latin America and the Caribbean. So today I want to present a little bit what we are working on and, well, what is the Digital and Green Innovation Action. So to begin with, the DGI Action is a global Theme Europe project that is co-funded by the European Union, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Development and Cooperation, and the French Agency for Development. We are trying to deliver three main things. We have three main objectives. The first one is a direct support for innovators through grants and advisory services to grow their operation and scale their impact. Also, we are developing different policy dialogues in order to promote networking, share knowledge, and foster strategic impact partnerships. The last one was held for the Latin American and Caribbean Action in Guatemala. And we are also aiming to promote the mobilization of investments and finance matchmaking for sustainable growth. Our geographical scope in the DGI Action is based in three different continents. So the first one in Africa, the second one in Asia Pacific, and the third one, that is the one I'm talking about today, Latin America and the Caribbean. What we are making in Latin America and the Caribbean. So the DGI LAC Action is a regional initiative that is implemented in Latin America by Expertise France. Why we are promoting this action? Well, because it is crucial to strengthen climate resilience in the region by harnessing digital and green innovation, especially or particularly by the Earth observation technologies that have a big focus in the Copernicus data, and to better anticipate, understand, and answer to the growing impacts of climate change. Where we are developing the DGI LAC Action, especially in Chile, Colombia, and Panama, we are looking forward to expand that impact to other countries in the region. How we are developing the DGI LAC Action? So we have two main scopes. The first one is the DGI Innovation Challenge, and the second one is the Business Support Organization program that mainly focus on strengthening the capacities in Earth observation for business support organizations. So let's take a look in each component. So for the first one, the DGI Innovation Challenge aims to support Earth observation innovators So this is like the main and central component of the project. And this challenge was launched at the beginning of this year. We were seeking for Earth observations-based climate solutions, for prototypes, but also for good ideas that could be like developed along the program. At the end, we received 88 applications from Chile, Colombia, and Panama. 23 startups were selected, 11 in Colombia, 9 in Chile, and 3 in Panama. And well, nowadays these companies are developing Earth observation solutions addressing climate challenges such as wildfire monitoring, water resource management, and smart agriculture, between others. This picture that you are seeing here in this moment was taken like this week, because in fact, this week we had our first launch event of the DJI LAC action in Colombia. And next week, we are developing these launch events in Chile and Panama. So the idea is just to bring together all the startups in order to connect, to make a lot of networking, but also to try to like connect the different ideas that are taking place in each country and then in the region with the LAX summit that will take place next year. So that was the first component. And the second one is based in strengthening business support organizations, so the local incubators in Chile, Colombia, and Panama. We made a tough process to select those 6 business support organizations. We have 2 in Colombia, 2 in Chile, 2 in Panama. And they are like developing a 7-month program that includes, between other things, group training sessions, e-learning modules, access to comprehensive information package and toolkits, mentoring, and really important, a study visit in France, just in order to know what the European Union is making to strengthen the Earth observation ecosystem, not only in Europe, but also in other regions of the world. This picture that you are seeing here was taken in Guatemala, as we brought together all the business support organization representatives to talk a little bit more about how we can address like the main objectives of the program. So DJI LAC at a glance. So we'll say that we are aiming to leverage digital and green innovation to address climate challenges. We are also in this moment supporting 23 Earth observation-driven startups across 3 different countries. We aim to strengthen 6 key incubators and business support organizations, and with those 3 main actions, we're aiming to build a collaborative space connecting innovators, public institutions, the European Union partners, and also the broader ecosystem for Earth observation. So that's all about what Expertise France and also our European partners we are doing here in Latin America, but also what we are talking about while we talk about the Digital Green Innovation Action. Here we have like the 2 main contacts for Moritz, that is co-hosting our session, but also from Antoine Bourreau, which is the project lead of the LAC DGI Innovation Action in Latin America. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Gabriela, for that intro to the Digital and Green Innovation Action and our activities in Latin America and the Caribbean. DGI is one of many projects with a global scope, but global projects cannot function without local anchors. So we are incredibly honored to be here at COP30 in Brazil, a nation at the forefront in many ways of digital and green innovation. And we are thrilled that Brazil's telecommunications regulator, Anatel, will be the host for the newly announced Green Digital Action Hub. So please welcome now Alexandre Campos Moraes, the Deputy Head of the International Affairs Office from Anatel, to set the scene from our host's perspective.
Thank you, Moritz, and thank you again for the kind invitation to participate in this discussion. As you mentioned, we're really proud to announce the hub this year. We are tasked by law to represent Brazil in international discussions in telecommunications, and the ITU is, of course, one of the main forums in which we participate. And we are glad this year to help them achieve this really important milestone in working ICTs and climate action within the discussions at COP. So being the presidents of COP30, we were asked by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to advance from the discussions that we were already doing in the action agenda since 2023. So the ITU has been participating at UNFCCC discussions since COP28 in Dubai, in which they initiated these discussions of the Green Digital Action, which is a track of events and discussions that take place at the action agenda and at different pavilions throughout COP. So this was the first year. Last year in Baku in Azerbaijan, there was the first digitalization day, which was a really important moment to highlight the role of technology in the climate action. And it was marked by this very important declaration, which was presented by the Azerbaijani presidency of COP29, which was viewed as a very important political milestone. But this year, as I mentioned, our MFA asked us to go one step ahead and to have one deliverable which is more tangible and which are in line with the implementation line of work which they're working in COP this year. You might also have heard of the word mutirão in Portuguese, which is another common thread for COP30 this year. And I believe that the GDA hub is very much in line with mutirão. Mutirão is something that used to happen more often when I was growing up here in Brazil, in which maybe the community, the friends and core workers would be working together on the weekend for maybe someone would build a house and would need painting or some work, and everyone from the community would join together to help and to assist everyone doing one task in which they can jump in. And this is really the spirit I will mention throughout my speech here: collaboration and partnerships very often. And this is really the spirit of the GDA hub and of COP30. So I'm very glad to mention that the GDA hub was announced this Monday already with many partners. I will mention, of course, it is a proposal by the ITU and it's supported by Anatel. But we are already have in UNITAR, EGDG, GIZ, the World Bank Group, CODES, GGGI, and we, Anatel, will be tasked with leading an international advisory board for this institution. So the idea, of course, and I believe that the main vocation for this hub is to try to identify local initiatives and to identify synergies between different countries in activities that can be scaled up. So I believe there is a lot of work to do. Technology is not a new topic in climate agenda and in UNFCCC discussions, but I believe that we all have this ambition to have it more impactful. So before I finish, I'd just like to mention that we are already with one project within the GDA hub, which is the AI Climate Institute, which was also launched this week. It is a partnership between Anatel, the ITU, and UNESCO. So we already have content from the ITU Academy and from the UNESCO, the World Academy of Sciences, in trying to work technology and in specific artificial intelligence for climate action. There was one workshop in Belém last October. So there was this groundwork in which we were able to train local indigenous communities, but also members of indigenous communities from all the Amazon countries. And even beyond that, I believe there was one participant from Egypt also was able to participate. It is to really bring on knowledge about how to use AI for climate action. So this is I believe the main deliverables from us at COP30 this year. There are of course many projects at Anatel, and I'm happy to share more if you have questions. So thank you, Moritz.
Thank you, Alexandre, for this powerful commitment from Brazil and Anatel to host this new hub. I think it's a clear signal to the world that we urgently need. But a successful innovation ecosystem needs, of course, more than a host as well. It needs the connective tissue, right? It needs the accelerators, the training programs, the support structure that turn ideas into viable businesses. So to speak on this vital role, I'm especially pleased to have in person in Belém, Solveig Sofoniasdottir, the head of the Climate Kick Academy. So Solveig. Let's see which microphone will work.
Hello, let's see if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Sound works. And hello everyone here and online. I am going to speak around our Catalyst 1.5 initiative. And as I frame around that, I would like to ask for already next slide. So Catalyst 1.5, we support early stage climate tech ventures in Latin America and West Africa with funding and advisory services, building ecosystems that mobilize private capital and reduce emissions. And before going into what it is, I just want to talk a little bit about the case for action. So if I could get the next slide here. I want to just frame that if an estimated 45% of GHG emission reductions will need to be made by technologies that are currently in early innovation or concept phase. So if we are to close this gap, we do need those early stage technologies. We need to pay attention to how to support and enable those. And new tech is one of the keys to tackling climate change, and mobilizing private capital is really essential to fill the climate finance gap. And in the Global South, climate tech is a strategic sector that helps us unlock sustainable growth. And then with that, maybe back to the Catalyst 1.5 initiative. If I could get the next slide there. So Catalyst 1.5, Catalyst was funded by the Green Climate Fund and BMZ with 38 million euros. It's implemented by GSZ with Climate Kick, Technological de Mandre, and IPED. It has 90% of operational activities in between 24 and 26, and the key result is that is the building of a pipeline of 180 investable climate tech ventures in Latin America and West Africa. And a broader result is really around strengthening the climate tech innovation ecosystems in these two regions, to really building and weaving together ecosystem actors. Where we operate, so if you could give me the next slide in terms of that, thank you. We are present in 8 countries in Latin America, and 8 countries in West Africa, with pilot activities currently ongoing in Brazil and in Egypt. So here you can see the scope of our presence and the type of activities that we do in this program. If you will, next slide there. We do what we call climathons, so which are 48 hours, you could say, climate hackathons with entrepreneurs, early stage students, citizens to develop initial business ideas. We have pre-accelerator activities to support 120 ventures that are in the pre-seed stage with coaching, mentoring, business and climate activities. Small grants, really with the aim of bringing product back to market. We have accelerator activities to support for 60 ventures, coaching again, mentoring, business building, repayable grants, linking to investor and looking at the goal of scaling in terms of that. And then on the ecosystem level, we're really focused on strengthening innovation ecosystems and partnerships for climate technologies, for example, through the Forum on Climate Tech Investments. So this is the broad scope of the activities that are ongoing within the initiative. And what is special about the initiative is that it really focuses on closing an existing gap in the market. So early stage investment is scarce, and many investments need non-dilutive capital to de-risk technology and business models. We want to build and move towards substantial accelerator programming, and the another special part of the Catalyst program is the 100,000 euro repayable grant for each of the accelerator ventures. So we are using a thorough and robust methodology for forecasting and measuring climate impact of the ventures based upon life cycle assessment, and we really are building and working with strong partnerships on all levels, with a robust diversity and equity inclusion lens as well incorporated within the initiative. So first results in terms of where we are right now, 103 ventures have been supported, 3.1 million capital has been raised, and that we are projected to avoid 110,000 tons of CO2 in the next year alone. Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse of two different initiatives and ventures within. So Enabel is a company that taps into the overlooked urban mines, helping to meet a projected 166 billion US dollars demand by 2030 with traceable ethical recovery from e-waste. So this is one of the companies based in Mexico that is within the Catalyst program. And another focus of an example of a company within the Catalyst universe is Satellites on Fire. So Satellites on Fire uses satellite data, tower cameras, and AI to detect wildfires and illegal deforestation, offering fast, reliable alerts to protect forests and communities. So this is a company that's based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So these are two different examples from within the Catalyst initiative. And I think that that's that for me. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Solveig. That was very, very interesting, and I'd love to know more about it, even though, of course, GIZ is also implementing the Catalyst project, but still lots to learn here with every single initiative that we get to hear from. It shows a little bit really just how critical also this ecosystem support layer is. But of course, for the green digital economy to truly scale, we can't force every startup to reinvent the wheel. There needs to be a shared foundation, common, open, and interoperable tools, and this is what we call digital public goods. So I'm very excited here to present, or rather to welcome someone who will present a game-changing example of such a digital public good, which is called the Prospect Platform, Critical Unlocking Climate Finance. Please welcome John.
Thank you very much, Moritz, and good morning and good afternoon to everyone, both in person and tuning in via YouTube. My name is John, and I'm here to talk a bit about Prospect, the primary open source platform for energy and climate tracking. This is a project that GIZ, on behalf of the European Union, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Austria, and the Netherlands, has been supporting to start up off the ground over the past 3 years, being implemented by a not-for-profit research institute based in Berlin called the Access to Energy Institute. And as you can imagine, really our focus in developing Prospect has been to develop a digital public good primarily for the energy sector, but we're now really expanding out into other sort of climate and climate adjacent sectors. And rather than present this myself, it's quite a chore to do in 5 minutes. We have prepared a video hosted by my colleague from the A2EI, Thomas Duvaux. So I guess, Moritz, will you play this or should I?
Around SDG.
We got it.
And we've developed an open source data platform called Prospect. Prospect stands for Primary Open Source Platform for Energy and Climate Tracking, an impossible to remember acronym, but what's important is the open source element makes Prospect a digital public. So what does Prospect do in the context of SDG 7? SDG 7 is modern, affordable, clean energy access, and it's made out of grid connection, off-grid connections, clean and light. So different connections to sources, and does it working in the field, visualizing the data.
I am also with John.
And that's a very powerful
maybe we can pause
tool,
the video
basically, to better
and pivot back to
come
John,
up with strategies that actually make sense.
because I'm not really following. It's a bit choppy. Would that be possible?
It's a bit choppy. Yes. Let's see if I can share, and I can show you a bit about the platform.
Thank you, John, for jumping in.
No,
what we
it's
can
my
do,
pleasure.
potentially, John, as well, is we can put the video, if you've uploaded it somewhere, in the link to it in the chat, so that we can people can watch it independently. Maybe we can also put that in the description of the YouTube video later.
Absolutely, and I think it's not actually public yet, but it will be quite soon, and then we can make that happen. So rather than do too much kind of just talking, I'm going to show you the platform right now, and just give you a very brief introduction to what it works. Prospect, the open source platform for energy and climate tracking. Prospect is really like Moritz indicated, a digital public good, a really sort of public infrastructure. It is a platform to enable energy projects to connect really their devices, anything with a chip essentially, but also anything that's connected or kind of managed some way online or with specialized software. It allows energy companies, energy projects, community energy organizations, really anyone, even standalone individual residencies with their own energy systems, to upload data to Prospect and really understand a bit more what it all means. And I'll show you some examples of how Prospect's being used right now. The first is the Endosho Smart Clinic. This is a health clinic based in North Kivu province in the DRC. And this is a health clinic that is relatively advanced also for the area. And the client in this case has connected a number of devices, essentially every medical device in the clinic, to Prospect. And so at one kind of overview, somebody centrally who's responsible for sort of understanding the operational aspects of this clinic can see exactly when, how often, with what regularity these devices are being used. It's very important to understand, for instance, in refrigerators in the medical space, how often they are on, or if there are any problems in maintenance of sort of temperature thresholds. And with this kind of insight, the CBAC, CBCA, which is running this together with the UNHCR, is able to have a completely different understanding and view into the operations of this clinic. This project is actually currently being expanded from 1 clinic to 50, and we're very interested to see how, for instance, this energy monitoring device or platform can be beneficial for the for also the health sector. We also have, for instance, in Zambia, this is one other example of now a public sector partner who's using Prospect to monitor the deployment of energy from grid extension projects, but also other distributed renewable energy projects to citizens in their country. And so with this type of analysis, they're able to really understand, over what time period, what are the types of trends in installation of new systems, what are the sort of characteristics of the customers themselves. And it's really about, what we kind of use as our tagline, stop guessing. I think a lot of times in our space, whether it be the climate or development sector, we're oftentimes kind of hoping or guesstimating or really guessing what impact we're having, and Prospect is designed to really change that and guarantee that we know exactly what's happening on the ground. So I would stop there and hand it back over to you, Moritz.
Thank you so much, John. And I would be super excited to actually have some questions, not only for you, John, but for the other speakers. Maybe if we have time at the end, we can get to them, because I think what the potential of this platform, for example, is and could be in the future also for other applications potentially beyond the energy sector would be very, very interesting to hear about. But in the meantime, thank you very much, John, for demonstrating the power of open source tools. But now I think we're all excited to hear about some innovators on the ground, right? And what they're doing with all this support that and all of these tools. So I would love to start directly here, or rather over there in the COP host country. Tackling climate change in Brazil, of course, means protecting its most precious resource, its forests. So here to show us how his company Forestify is using technology to do exactly that is João Vitor. Over to you, João.
Good afternoon, can you hear me? It's good? Okay, my pleasure to be here. I'm John, my name is John, here with João, and here to present Forestify. I am project analyst, and Forestify is a platform to invest productive change on Middle Amazon. And actually, we have 3 main problems on Amazon scenario, and the 3 main problems on productive change. The first one is the urgent need to generate income for local population. We have so many people who live in distant places, so far away from the cities, and so it's very hard to generate income on those populations on those places. The second one is the high level informality, and the first one problem in this is the regularization of the land. And in Amazon, we have so many problems on this about the regularization, so on land and environmental too. The third one is expensive and scarce funding. It's one of the reality that we have on Brazil. And our mission is basically facilitating and strengthening investment on productive chains in the Amazon through the tokenization of social biodiversity assets. Basically, we transform a bioactive for social biodiversity assets, and we transform these on a digital asset. So how we do this? We have this process with investors like this. We have these steps for tokenization of social biodiversity assets. The first one is map the production chain of interest. So actually we work with not only with vegetable, but we work with animal production chains. And the first step is map the production chains interest on legal Amazon. The second step is select this organization that fits in your step. The third one is issue the tokens on the platform. So we make these contracts with these organizations on Liga Amazon, and this production and this organization can issue the tokens on platform, and the investors can be rated. That's the first step, investment rating. And later we have the final step, the return of investment, and investors can be financial return and the impact. They create an impact, and financial impact and social environmental impact on this region. I can pass this slide. This is a layout of our platform. Here we can see the main page, but we can see the 3 rounds of the tokenization. Here we have a token code, 2 letters and 1 number. And here we have 2 rounds of same organization. And here's another token for another organization. You can pass this slide, please. So we have, I'm here to show 2 examples of this that we had on our platform. The first one is a tokenization of bioactive, vegetable active with fruit, guaraná, that can be used like energy drink here in Brazil. And outside in the world, it can be used to energy drink too. So this birthplace, this region was in legal Amazon, in the state of Amazonas, in the city of Maués. And here, this on the photo is José Cristo. This region, we made the second step, the mapping the region. We do this map using GIS. We create a data to all the families, all the productive areas. We can generate the polygons of these areas. So we create a data that we can show to the investors where the money is coming. So this is one of these, the guaraná. That's our second case. It's a pirarucu. Who don't know, the pirarucu is the biggest fish on the world of sweet water. So here you can see in the first photo, it's the fabric and to benefit of the fish. In the second photo, it's the visiting organization to make a negotiation so the organization can issue the tokens on platform. In the third photo is the mapping on this region that we made on GIS, we create the data, so we can generate the polygons of this lake, and the fishermen take this fish. So this last slide, it's our partners. So we have people that make us strong, that can make both us to here, and some investors like Dynamo and Carnegie that is investors in that's it. Thank you so much for your attention.
It's very exciting to see how the vision is implemented on the ground. Without further ado, I would like to expand our scope all the way over to Africa, but again, to an innovator that is with us physically in Belém right now. So from the very own DGI Action, please welcome the CEO of the Source Plus, Bronson Eranogwa.
It's a great opportunity. I hope I'm audible now. To also the people online. Perfect. So yeah, I'm Bronson Eranogwa, the co-founder and executive director of the Source Plus organization. We work across Africa, working with small-scale farmers to source and produce honey and ensure traceability across the value chain. So today, actually, climate change disrupts practices from over 2 million small-scale farmers, beekeepers in Africa. And this has triggered a domino effect whereby it alters floral patterns and also affect how bees can relate. There in turn causing contamination in the honey and eventually leading to product creation on the market at the global scale. So what we bring on the table is a solution, arbitrage, that uses AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, and GIS to track and monitor the species of honey and to bridge the gap between market and climate change, where we also provide insurance for small-scale farmers. And for not further ado, I think I'll let him play the video that prepared you for it.
A cell is the basic unit of life. Bees are the basic unit of ecosystem. They are the engineers of the biodiversity and the environment, from the pollination of wild trees to the food which is put on the table. When the bees are healthy, it means the ecosystem is healthy. But if bees are not healthy, then there is something wrong with the environment, and which needs to be addressed urgently and fast. We started from a hackathon from the university, where we developed a crop pest analysis using machine learning application. And on our travel to Embu, where we are today, we realized there was a much more problem. The absence of bees within the society meant that farmers were using hand pollination to pollinate their crops. And it was quite labor intensive and also expensive. The aha moment was like, we need bees to have food on the table. And we need bees to increase the pollination. Thus now we went ahead, modified our algorithms to develop what we have today as Apitrace. This is the trace honey from the hive to the market. Our solution stands out because we use blockchain system. So that means the data input is immutable. It cannot be altered and it cannot be changed. It's recorded and it's permanent. One of the major risks bees face within the region is pesticide. Unfortunately, there's not enough knowledge about the pesticides that come into the country. So this makes them to mix the chemicals. They mix and forms a toxic concoction, which gets drained off to the water. And this water is actually what bees use to make their honey, and thus contaminating the honey. And this, of course, obviously would lead to market rejection and also reduce market access. When a farmer wants to mix the chemicals, there is a voluntary reporting that happens in the system where they select the chemical they want to use. We have a database that informs what the final product will look like. Therefore, if it's quite dangerous, we use the traffic lights, the red, the amber, and the green. According to that now, a trigger alert will be triggered in the beekeeper application, whereby there is a spraying happening, they need to take a responsive action to enclose their bees or other responsive action to protect the bees. And that's how the application works in connection with the beekeeper and the farmer. When we started this, we never had any network around us. It's just that the farmers of the community saw the value in what we are doing and they wanted to be part of it. And the community keeps just growing and growing and growing, with beekeepers and farmers in action trying to repopulate and increase the population of the bees. They play a critical role into the ecosystem, and thus we're able to mitigate climate change and population decline, which is happening globally, and therefore enhancing food security across the globe. Team Europa has been of great support towards our goals and focus. One, because they are considered as partners in the same level. Secondly, we've been enrolled to scale up courses on how to scale up your businesses. And thirdly, They have also enabled us access and open the market in terms of our export and help us do copyright and patenting of our solution. For Kenya to export honey, you need to be accredited. And luckily, we are the only organization accredited to start exporting honey to the European and outside the country. A healthier bee population is a healthy ecosystem, which also leads to a broader, healthier biodiversity, and above all, healthier humans.
Wow, to the dot. Very, very cool, Bronson. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. Very, very proud to support you. I think we would try to go even further now after hearing Bronson's input from Africa to Indonesia, and we would like to see from an innovator that supports a very remote ecosystem, basically the deployment of digital and green solutions in some of the most remote communities with Copernic. Miro, let's try to play that video, please.
My name is Oscar, Managing Director at Copernic, based in Indonesia. And Copernic is an R&D lab for social and environmental issues, and we're basically aiming to find solutions for challenges faced by underserved and disadvantaged communities all across Indonesia. And to do that, to solve those challenges, we first identify unmet needs to understand the specific problems faced by the communities we aim to support. Then we test solutions that are showing potential to solve those specific challenges, following a lean experimentation approach of ideation, prototyping, and testing those solutions in a fast and cost-effective way. We collect data on what works and what doesn't, and then we share the results so the most promising solutions can be replicated and amplified. And the final goal of this process is to amplify the positive impact, both for the communities and for the environment. In terms of understanding these unmet needs or challenges, we created this digital platform where we provide an immersive experience with 360 degrees virtual reality videos, so our partners can have a better understanding of the problem and the environment in that particular location, and we can come up with better solutions together. Another digital platform that we have created is more focused on the solutions, and it's called the Solutions Catalog. So here we share all our lean experiments, all these and cost-effective experiments that are giving us some strong signal to see if a solution works to solve a specific challenge. So the most effective ones can be, again, replicated and scale up. Now I want to share or highlight one of our projects that we implemented a few months ago together with the Digital Green Innovation Community, DGI, in Indonesia. It's called the Green Tech Makers, and it's a rapid prototyping and a product development training program specifically tailored for green tech startups and entrepreneurs in Indonesia. So through a series of training sessions, both online and in person, participants were equipped with specific skills and knowledge to refine, to build, and to develop functional prototypes to solve specific social and environmental challenges. And it was with a strong focus on hands-on learning and real-world applications, and an emphasis on lean experimentation, digital fabrication, and distributed innovation. And just to show a little bit the participants. So we selected 10 local startups and entrepreneurs, well distributed across Indonesia. And a couple of examples in West Java, we had Biops, improving farmers' productivity with AI images and IoT systems. In East Java, we got Benambak, supporting small-scale aquaculture fishers by reducing energy and costs with an ideator system driven by AI. Or in the east, in Sulawesi, we got Econela, reducing carbon emissions from agriculture machinery with bioadditives. So we want to highlight that the importance of this program, this DGI program, is also the network. So the benefits of the program were not only improving the technical capabilities of green tech startups, but also building and expanding this vast network of entrepreneurs on one side, but also enablers like mentors, universities, incubators, and accelerators, even the government. So the whole network served as a catalyst to drive positive impact in the green technology sector across Indonesia. So yeah, that's pretty much all. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the session.
Okay. Thank you to Oscar, and we send our warm greetings to Indonesia. And I really have to say, what a fantastic set of innovators. I'm super excited. It's always really cool to see, like what kind of innovations are happening and emerging on the ground and really making a real impact in the community and, of course, for our planet. So we're good in time, but I think it's time to round up this interesting session with a political perspective and framing this work that we're doing within the EU Global Gateway strategy. I want to give a warm welcome to Flavia Jambaresi Ganyo from the European Commission's Directorate General for International Partnerships, who's joining us. Yes.
I would have loved to be with you in person at the COP30 Digital Innovation Pavilion today, even more so as Brazil is my home country. But I'm grateful to be able to speak to you from Brussels, to share the European Union's perspective and work on fostering the twin digital and green transition towards a more sustainable future. The EU is committed to the twin transition not only as a political priority, but really as an essential strategy for addressing climate change, reducing environmental degradation, and harnessing digital technologies to benefit economies and societies. Green and digital are priorities for our Global Gateway strategy, as we focus on climate and energy and digital as key areas of investments, guiding our collaborative efforts with partner countries. Through the Global Gateway, we embrace the Team Europe approach, which combines the expertise and resources of EU institutions, member states, financial institutions, the private sector, and civil society to deliver in these key priority areas. The Digital and Green Innovation Action that was presented here today is a great example of these efforts that result in strengthening digital, green, and circular entrepreneurship across partner regions. The program has been successfully improving entrepreneurial capacities, enhancing access to resources, and fostering collaborations that are essential for scale and impact. Throughout these sessions, you have had the chance to have a brief contact with some of the remarkable ideas that the EU and our member states have been supporting around the globe. These initiatives highlight the importance of innovation competitions, open calls, and hackathons in identifying and scaling tailored solutions to local contexts. Today's event highlights the potential for South-South cooperation, facilitating the exchange of innovative solutions to global challenges and breaking down the geographical barriers. I thank today's presenters for demonstrating the transformative power of innovation and the importance of digital tools to drive positive climate action and green economic growth. To conclude, I would like to thank you, our host, Anatel, our innovators, Team Europe colleagues, and all participants to this session for your contribution to this dialogue. And let us continue to collaborate, celebrate the successful initiatives, and strive to enhance our contributions to a sustainable and inclusive future for all. Thank you.
Thank you to Flavia over there in Brussels. And with this, I think we are approaching really the end of our panel. One who's contributed to this. I thought it was very exciting to see really a quite comprehensive picture of the innovation ecosystem from different perspectives, the macro perspective at global level, the project perspective, the ecosystem builder perspective, the perspective of digital public goods, and of course, most importantly, the innovators' own perspective, which are the ones that are making the impact on the ground. So all of you are building this shared vision together, and we invite all of you to take a look over to what Anatel announced before, the Green Digital Action Hub, which is being launched now at this COP. And for the rest, I want to say a special thank you, of course, to our physical guests who joined us in person in apparently sweltering Belém. Is it very hot? I would assume so. Solveig is making good use of the fan. But you've been sitting there with us very patiently. So thank you all for your immensely valuable contributions. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy the rest of COP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.